Hey, look what I can do, he sideshow-hawker like proudly declared, attracting the innocently fawning, unsuspectingly inquisitive, soon wishing they could please forget and never again recall surrounding party-goers as, with rusted, post-generically designed, hand-operated can opener, he commenced peeling back slathering chunks of his face to reveal beneath portions of white plastic like skull. Forewarned not to try this infamous party trick, he was condescendingly offered the donated use of a needle and thread at the French window door exit, where he acquiesced to agree that their warnings had not been invalid, and his stunt had revealed itself tonight as a one time only event. Anything to regain entry, but nothing worked. Another prospective entrant made himself present, running from out of misty darkness, past rows of poplar trees, with things incomprehensibly mysterious for their categorical situation upon the earth, dangling, unknown in classification as either mineral, vegetable, or animal. Breathlessly, he revealed the source of his terror with an anguished, I've just met up with my actual self, turning the page to one with a corner previously folded by an earlier reader. He recognized the handwriting penciled into the margin. Some things should remain unrecorded, attached to a dash leading to a passage describing the protagonist's realization that his psychic ability to perceive from a distance of any type into the consciousness of another had been altered, with an addition to the natural psychic equipment in the form of the ability to determine whose mind it might be that was attempting to probe the others, thereby summoning within him a reaction of psychic repulsion akin to that of a child inquisitively touching a slater bug and it curling, immobile, into a segmented lead grey exoskeleton armoured ball, or a snail, when automatically retreating into a defensive foaming drool of piss yellow froth sequestered deep within its protective shell, both of which, as examples, proved similarly as equally weak and flimsy defensive barriers from a thought wave probe of that magnitude as might the sugar coating of a chocolate bean before the swift, fully cantilevered swing into it of an industrial sized wrecking ball. Drafting letters to the night proved a diversion amusing, a method fulfilling the ability to deliver their envelopes was the secret obsession progressively driving every line to its fulfillment. We'd here entered a type of gathering in a space, the nature of which it was impossible to determine, where people silently acknowledged with a knowing look or slight bow of the head whenever coming across someone whom they considered familiar, before again moving forward through the crowd, deciding against a future as a machine operator at the bug spray aerosol can factory. The realization dawned that relinquishing control and losing control were not of a like nature. A back catalogue of songs specifically regarding the topic people remembered after death. Invisible pictures. Everyone ripped out a few pages, in unison or singly capable of releasing from their bodies by cell built coronal spray ejection an adept assistant. He commenced the process of constructing one of these vaunted, neurally controlled, non reciprocally communicating secondary being slave body units, warning us direly to in no way cross the cell projecting beam whilst it was actively engaged in the forming process. These periods of operation might be discerned by the presence of a watery pond scum green light and the accompanying scent of a perfume, not quite artificial bubblegum jungle fruit flower or triple X Death Adder chili, lunar spider meat barbecue sauce, but ranging somewhere between these two. Sometimes spontaneously ejected in miniature just prior to death, if sufficient time availed. Delicately minuscule avatars requiring voice amplification to be heard when speaking at the weekly meeting without a primary functioning controller, proved then are often rather irritating for their incessant poesy lamentations over the inevitable approach of death. This type of derivation was deemed acceptable as long as the narrative was amply revived toward conclusion, although the frequency of this practice waned as acceptance dwindled. Following the day I accidentally stood on some, what was most remarkable, and thus served to garner international news media attention, was that this had taken place whilst we were apparently subject to zero gravity, or according to the dimensions allotted scope for conjecture within the boundaries of the scandal, we should have been.